Sincerely, 2 years ago, before the COVID-19 arrived, I was seriously thinking to retire or to go to Superbike and try to do another things, I don't know, but I was not enjoying. I was suffering a lot. I was 29 years old and I was crying every Monday when I arrived at home.
Hello and welcome to Last on the Brakes, the MotoGP podcast, where we have hopefully the most in-depth chats you've heard with a whole range of characters and people in the MotoGP community, including risers. And you're listening to one today. We are here with Aleix Espargaro on this week's episode. I think it's a good deep dive.
Yes, absolutely. Aleix Espargaro, one of the most prolific characters, I think, on the MotoGP social media platforms. He's documenting his entire life. But how often do you actually get to hear him talk in depth about what he's feeling inside?
Yeah, I think it was an interesting chat on that. Yeah. And also, I forgot to introduce us. I'm Fran Wild. That's Matt Dunn.
For goodness sake, Fran. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, really enjoyed this episode with Aleix. Took a bit of a different turn than we were expecting. I'm particularly enjoyed the chat about his relationship between him and his team manager, Massimo Rivola, and the change that he's brought in. I think this episode is a particularly unique insight between athlete and their management, and also the type of leadership style going on in Aprilia these days.
Yeah, it is interesting, and about the changes that the Noale factory have kind of put in place over the last couple of seasons. Good, interesting chat, honest as ever as well, yeah. Part of why we love Aleix. And question of the week then, we were thinking something to do with kind of happiness. What drives you? Is it about how you feel when you're trying to achieve something?
How you perform best, I think.
How you perform best. Are you kind of goal driven, or are you just about what makes you happiest and then you just keep doing that? What's your kind of approach?
So you got to keep listening, because then you'll find out how Aleix Espargaro performs best at his job.
The secrets of
the secret of his success, which actually around 4 of the championship, it sounds like his season, he's happy enough if it finishes now after all that.
Yeah, if you need a good cheer up, listen to this, because it's just full of joy.
Yeah,
it's great.
He's just absolutely loving his life, and it's really nice to hear as well, because he does actually point out in it a couple of years ago he really wasn't enjoying it. So
actually quite a kind of a headline stealer, I was going to say admittment there. Yeah. Admission, promise I speak English. They almost decided to give it up. So interesting stuff about that, and coming back to it. So please enjoy our deep dive.
And before we go for the rest of the intro, do stick around at the end, because we are reviewing your comments that you leave at the end of every episode.
Yes,
it's a little bit finely cut, because we're now only recording this the day after we released the Oliveira episode, so I hope you all enjoyed that one. So this morning in the media centre, quickly trawled through some of the YouTube comments, and a lot of feedback to the question of the week. Last one was about how whether riders need to have things outside of their life of racing. So thank you for all those comments. We'll review them at the end of the show.
And there's a bit more on that topic in this one as well.
Well, there is actually, isn't there? Yeah, exactly. So make sure you get in touch, leave a comment underneath the YouTube video, or get in touch using the hashtag on Twitter, MotoGP Podcast. Be nice to us, the guests, each other. That's the main thing. And we'll speak to you at the end of the show. Hey, let's begin. Aleix Espargaro, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All good?
All good.
Yes.
It's almost a race, home race. I raced many times here in Jerez, one circuit that I love it. One of the best circuits to be close to the fans. So with these circumstances, it's not going to be that fun, but nice to be here, yes.
Big time. Hey, so feature interview with you. We can't not talk to you about cycling and things like that. I mean, everybody watching, if they follow you on Instagram, they know that's
They might think you're a cyclist.
Yeah, true. I mean, you are basically a pro, right? You get sponsored stuff and everything. But the thing I want to ask you about is what is it specifically you love most about it? Because to some people, I cycle at home, and for me it's about escapism. I don't really care. Well, I do a little bit about how fast I am.
I feel like that's a little bit of a lie.
For me, getting out in the roads and being like with nature and just like rolling through there is what's important to me. But you seem to love the numbers. Is that the case then?
Yes, I'm super competitive, so everything I do, I try to be in maximum level. Even if sometimes I go to play paddle with my wife, I don't want to lose. So I always play to win. But in any case, there are two things that I love it. The first one, and the reason why I start with, is to be fit for MotoGP, obviously. I'm very stricted with the food and with my diet.
We know.
And
see that too.
the weight for me is very, very important. So the bicycle allowed me to stay very, very lean.
Is that also because you're a little bit taller?
Yes,
I guess
exactly,
for you have to really focus on that.
And on the acceleration with the MotoGP, if you can stay 2-3 kilos lower than the competitors, you can feel the difference. And then in the second is that it's like, for me, it's like if I disconnect from the world. So on that 4 or 5 hours that I cycle every day, I'm just focused on my numbers, on my efforts, and I don't think about my pressure or my responsibilities or even with the family. It's just 5 hours for me, for myself to be training, and I love it. I love it.
That's cool. So, sorry.
I was just going to say, so it is the mental aspect as well.
Yes,
then,
yes.
Yeah, because I was going to say, we've seen you document so much of, like you say, like food and training, physical training a lot. How do you prepare kind of mentally for a race weekend? And has that changed now where you are now and in the era we are now?
It's very important. I mean, I think in this era, everybody is very fit. It's not like... I was talking about this with Capirossi and Biaggi, and they were saying to me that when they were racing in 250 class, was not important to be fit. I mean,
you
just
can
a
kind
couple
of just have a few wines.
Exactly,
and just
exactly. Now it's not like this. Now everybody is close to be an athlete. So maybe I exaggerate a little bit, but in terms of the head, it's very important for me, at least, to feel when I arrive to a GP that I'm super ready, super fit, that I control my diet, arrive on my weight. So when I jump on the bike, I feel like I can be stronger, I can be faster, and at the end, it's just a stupid thing, but allowed me to be super ready.
That's really interesting, because it sounds like then the way that you feel most mentally prepared is when you're fully physically prepared.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with such stressful situations in a race, like, I mean, now it's interesting to see how much more competitive the Aprilia and you are this year. You're equaling your best results. How are you able to prepare with that new pressure that comes? You're seeing the podium like less than a second up the road now. How are you staying so focused in your mind? Is there any preparation that goes in towards that?
That's more difficult for me, sincerely, because it's new situation. I'm 31 years old, so normally when you arrive at this age in MotoGP, you have to be prepared for this. But I'm not. And it's new also for all the stuff in Aprilia MotoGP, because in the last 6 years we've never been that close. So I can arrive very, very prepared physically and mentally, but this situation is new. I'm trying to handle it on the most, I will say, easy, relaxed, because nobody in Aprilia is pushing me for the podium. The only one who's pushing hard to finish in the podium, and I feel like an obligation, is myself. But for them, it's very good to finish the races very close, to achieve points every race. For them, it's more than enough. For me, no. So I put my pressure in myself, but I try to don't make mistakes. I think, for example, Portima, I was able to fight for the podium. They were in front of me, but I decided to keep going slowly, keep growing, keep improving the bike, and for Aprilia, they always say to me, it's very important to be as high as possible on the classification, not in just one single race. So this gives me a lot of calm. Yeah.
That's cool. And for any listeners who don't know, because the best result for Aprilia in the MotoGP era is 6th, which you've equaled already this year.
Yeah.
But you've also been closer to the front than ever before. Because like 10 years ago, maybe 6th could be 3 times further back in time. So I think it's just important to point out, like, the results, some of them are a little bit similar, but the distance you've made up is really impressive into where you are now.
Exactly. I mean, we live from our results. It's the only important thing, the points you achieve after the checkered flag on Sunday. But what makes me very proud and happy is how competitive we are. You can finish 6th in one wet race when 10 riders crash and you finish at 32 seconds. But the way we are racing, how we are finishing the races, at just the guys in the podium or even the winner is in front of me.
I don't know how you deal with that temptation, honestly.
Exactly.
When you just at the end, you're like, but that risk and reward.
I have to say that there is nothing much left in my pocket, So I'm close to the limit. But yes, the most important thing is to feel competitive. I feel many sessions I'm leading the session or even in top 3 on the last 10 minutes. So for us, this is big different from last season. So this makes me very, very happy.
A big thing we wanted to also ask you about is your journey to being a factory rider, because how many years now have you been a factory rider in either Suzuki and Aprilia, MotoGP?
So now this is my fifth season in Aprilia plus 2 of Suzuki, so it's 7 years. Yeah,
it's a long shift as a factory rider. So,
yeah.
But you've had such a unique journey. I really think you are one of the most unique riders on the grid in terms of your career navigation.
Yeah.
Did anything that happened to you, like with the Moto2, CRT, anything like that, to then become a factory rider, did you plan it that way, or did you have to sort of float like a butterfly in the wind?
I mean, everybody who is a factory rider deserves it and work hard for it. But the way I arrive, at least what I feel, is that I really work hard to arrive here, because my way wasn't the easiest way, and I had to go back from MotoGP to Moto2 1 year. Then I had to ride for CRT open bikes, and sincerely, when Suzuki called me to be factory rider, the Monday after Valencia GP, when I jumped the first time on the factory team on a factory bike, I have to say that after the born of my 2 kids, the best day of my life. Was unbelievable to be factory rider. It's the best thing one rider can achieve in his life. So now to be able to maintain this level, to stay in a factory team and to grow up like this is unbelievable. And in Aprilia, everybody is against. I mean, is with me. Everybody depends on me because the situation of my teammate. So the pressure is high, but also it's unbelievable to feel the support of everybody in Aprilia, to feel how much they believe in myself. It's a pressure, but I love it.
Because you've skipped ahead there past a question I was going to ask about when you obviously were in the open category then rather than independence. That really seemed to bring out something in you that just, I don't know if was it being the underdog or knowing that you were kind of able to take that next step if you really kind of pulled it out the bag. But you took that podium as well, and you really had an incredible run there before you went to Suzuki. How is it different in those 2 situations, and how does it feel when you line up knowing that you've got a factory behind you, or you're kind of racing almost for the chance to be in that factory?
Yeah, it's completely different story. I mean, the potential of the teams when you are in a satellite team, and even more when I was in an open team, because it was even worse than a satellite team. Or when you are factory, is completely another story. The way you work, completely another story. But the open class, it was like a invent from Dorna, but allowed me to arrive to Suzuki, because this type of bike, I knew that I had to go from FP1 to 100% if I want to stay close from them, because the power and the material we had was not competitive at all if we compare with the factory boys. So I understood that I had to go on my maximum. I did a good championship. We finished 7 in the championship with forward Yamaha. So that was the key to arrive in a factory team. And yes, the open class helped me a lot.
Go on.
No, you go.
I was going to say, like, how has your mindset then changed from year in terms of your expectations? Like, do you feel, for example, this year, fighting near the top again, does that remind you of a certain year in your career already where you felt in a similar position? Or has it been different every time?
Yeah, it's been different, and since when I arrived in Aprilia, I never felt that I was competitive. I struggled a lot. Sincerely, 2 years ago, before the COVID-19 arrived, I was seriously thinking to retire or to go to Superbike and try to do another things, I don't know, but I was not enjoying. I was suffering a lot. I was 29 years old and I was crying every Monday when I arrived at home, and I was not enjoying the life. And for me, the most important thing, yes, I'm a MotoGP rider, it's my passion, but life is short. So doesn't matter if it's riding a bike or making some business or riding a bicycle, but you have to enjoy the life. So on that moment, I decide, okay, I think I will not continue. Then when Ribble arrived, the perspective start to change a little bit. Aprilia has to start to organize in a different way. We start to work a lot more, and I start to see the light at the end of the tunnel last year. And sincerely, the approach of this year is another story. I'm enjoying more than ever. The feeling that I have is that I have the passion and the happiness of a rookie rider, because to arrive in any weekend knowing that you can fight for the top is completely another story. It's a lot more easy for the mind, a lot more easy. It's very difficult to finish every race in 15, because I know that the guys that are finishing there, they are maybe working even harder than the ones that are winning. So to stay there is very difficult, and I suffer a lot the previous years.
Wow, okay. So obviously as Suzuki as well, you had a bike that was capable of being fairly near the front. Does it feel different now because maybe you've been through that difficult time again and now you've come back to it? Do you almost not appreciate it more because, like you said, it's your passion, you love MotoGP when you're able to compete at that level? But does it feel different now that you've had that dip and come back to it?
Yeah. I feel very proud of what we achieved because when I arrived to Suzuki, obviously was a new project, but Suzuki has a big history behind them, so they already, they don't start from zero, let's say like this. But when I arrived to Aprilia, they had just 2 years in MotoGP, but they had no story in MotoGP, so everything was brand new. So to work with them till this year that we are fighting with the best brands of the world, it's something that makes me super proud. Very, very happy about myself and all the people around me. But yes, it's something that makes you very proud. I know win is win, and if you win with Ducati is very nice, or with Honda is very nice for sure. But if we are able to put the Aprilia for first time in story in the MotoGP podium and fight for some races, this is unbelievable.
And you have been such a key part of it. It must really feel like you're part of the whole project at the core, rather than someone who's gone, oh, Aleix Espargaro, he's quite fast, we'll hire him.
Exactly. I've been with them on the downs. Now we are a little bit more up, but I feel that I'm an important part of Aprilia. But you know, I know how fast I am or how hard I has worked for this. But the important thing is that everybody in Aprilia believe a lot in me. And they always show to me, they always applaud when I arrive in the garage after a good race. On the meetings, they always speak very good about me. They believe a lot in me. Everything I need, I have it. So this is a support that really helped me a lot to grow and to keep going. This is why when I suffer a lot because I was slow, we were not competitive in the last years. The reason why I stay and I resign is because they believe a lot on me, no? And this gives me a lot of strength.
Something I picked up that you said earlier was about how when Massimo Rivola arrived, that really the perception and the perspective inside the garage started to change. What is it about his leadership style that you like so much?
So we were missing this guy on the team because before Massimo arrived, Romano Albesiano was in charge of everything, and I'm not saying that he was doing not a good job, but it's impossible to lead the develop of the bike with all of the engineers from Monday to Sunday when we were not racing. Then on the garage also, he was also talking with the riders, with the sponsors. It's impossible.
He doesn't have 8 hands.
Exactly. So now Massimo is doing a very good job, and I think Romano is also improving his job because he's an engineer, very good one. So now he's focused on the bike, and the results is there. The RGP20 and the RGP21 is the best bike they ever built because he's focused on what he's capable of. And Massimo also is very close to the riders. He's in charge of a lot of different things. The organization of the team has completely changed. It's another story. This is a factory team, as I remember, for example, Suzuki. We are Italians, but we are going on the Japanese direction.
We're going to take that quote now. We are Italians.
No, we are Italians. It's good. We have a lot of passion, more than the Japanese people. We are, we have maybe more fun, but we were missing the organization part, the method of work, and with the arrival of Massimo, this is something that has changed a lot, and the results is there. In just 2 years of his arrival, we go from the bottom and we are arriving to the top.
That's cool. This is a little bit different as well to earlier in pre-season this year. You seemed a lot more cautious in not wanting to come out and be like, yeah, we're going to fight for the podium. Because last year, of course, you had a great pre-season as well.
Fault, for example.
He seemed a little bit more just like, let's just stay calm and see where we are. Because obviously in Qatar, straight away, you were very, very quick.
Yeah, Massimo, last year, he saw and he know perfectly how I struggle after being very competitive in the pre-season. We had some problems with the engine, so we had to change a couple of things, and the bike wasn't more competitive anymore, and he know how I suffered last year. I was not enjoying, and it was very difficult season for me. So this year when I arrived to Qatar after Jerez test, because Jerez, the new bike was very, very good, promising. When I arrived in Qatar, I saw a white paper in my office, and was maximum 80%. Relax, don't go 100%. And every day, first day I finish first, and second day when I arrive, maximum 70%. So he's supporting me a lot, giving me a lot of confidence, and this for a rider is the most important thing, because there are a lot of things that you have to control, and if the boss of the team give you the stability, is much better.
It sounds like he understands you as a person very well. Compared to, I mean, you don't have to name names, obviously, but you've been in a lot of MotoGP
maybe
teams.
Don't name names.
Yeah, you've been in a lot of MotoGP teams, Moto2, 125, 250cc. What sort of characteristics does he do as a team manager differently compared to the others that you've worked with? Is he better in certain senses than others? Have you had a different manager who was, equally as good to you?
He's very involved, and sometimes he tried to stay. I mean, almost every weekend he tried to stay on the technical meetings to understand the feeling of the rider with the bike. Then he tried to talk with the engineers. As soon he saw something that, for example, if the connection between me or my crew chief with some electronic is not good, he tried to help. He's always there, always. Even if he had to do a lot of meetings with the sponsors or whatever, he tried to always control everything, and this gives you a lot of stability. Sincerely, I felt also very good with Davide Brivio. He was the first man to give me the chance to be factory rider. But the feeling that I have is that with Massimo, is more beside the rider, and this give you confidence. And the feeling that I have is that, sincerely, with Massimo, for Massimo, I am Marc or Valentino. Yeah. They say to me always that I'm the captain of Aprilia. They believe a lot in me, and I win nothing. So this really give you a lot of boost. Every time I jump to the bike, I give my 110%, because I know that they believe in me and they are waiting for me.
One last question on this one then, because we do want to get back to talk about your sort of personal life as well. But what happens if you, for example, he leaves a note on your desk and he says maximum 80%. Maybe there's one time where you've given 100 and you've crashed. How does he react then?
No, he know perfectly that even if he put 80%, I go 100% out from the pit. But he always support me. And last year, for example, I crashed here in Jerez. I crashed twice in both races, and we do a lot of meetings. Even if I finish a meeting with him of 1 hour and I go home, Monday morning when I wake up, I have a big mail from him trying. He never tried to be hard on me, but he tried to go a little bit more deep, trying to make me think a little bit more. And sometimes I think it's better to be like this than to be angry and aggressive, because the first one after a mistake who is angry is the rider. So what you need, someone that make you think a little bit more, be more, and Massimo is like this, and I'm very happy to have him on board, sincerely.
That's really interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that is interesting. So, we want to talk about you as well. We did a little bit of the cycling to, warm us up a little bit, which is obviously a big part of your life. And you said you use that as an escape from everything, family as well. Not in a negative way, I'm sure.
No,
it's just
no.
like that's your me time, I guess, is like the phrase nowadays. But so does having a family now, not too many riders have the same situation that you do with wife, kids, such a little family unit. Does that almost help you with racing now? And how do you balance it? Does it kind of give you perspective?
The reason why I'm here today is because I have a big family, and if not, 100% that I will not. I had not signed my last contract on the pandemic for sure, because I was not enjoying on the bike. I was suffering a lot, and the only thing that give me motivation to continue and makes me happy was my family when I arrived home. So this is the reason why I decided to sign and stay more time, because when I arrived home on Monday, the only way to disconnect was to stay with my family, and they makes me very happy. For me, is the most important thing on my life. And Laura, really support me and believe in me. So together we decided to try one more contract, and I was lucky to have her on my back because the results are improving.
Sounds like it's
now.
turned out quite well.
Yeah. So yes, I'm lucky to have them. They give me. I'm always happy. I can't be upset even if I crash or I finish this year. I'm always finishing in top 10. But even if I finish on 20, I'm very lucky because I have my dream was to have a good family. I have the best family of the world. So I'm very happy. Yeah.
When you first had the twins, I'm thinking of it's nice to talk to riders who've had kids. And how did you react instantly in that very next race? Was it business as usual? You're the same Aleix, or do you sometimes, as you come down the start and finish straight and you have a restful moment, you think about your family and things like that? What happens?
No, you are the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes the topic says that you lose 1/10 or 1 second, but no, it's not true.
Crutchlow won his first MotoGP race the weekend.
Yeah,
he had
exactly.
Willow, so.
In Brno. Yeah, remember. No, I mean, I love when I saw my kids cheating me on the TV because I'm fighting for the top. If not, I'm not on the TV. So and when they say Papa is the fastest one, so I love to be fast, to be competitive. Also for them. So no, they make me happy, and I know there are other riders that they don't need to be as happy, or they are just fast, professional, and that's it. But for me to success on my job, I need to be happy and relaxed, and this is what my family give me.
Perfect. Sounds like you got all the ingredients to have a successful season.
You're making us jealous here.
I know.
Everything's
great.
great.
I see your Instagram stories. I see the bicycles. I'm jealous as it is.
No, I have to say that this year, sincerely, I never been that happy. I'm enjoying a lot my life. On the family side, I'm enjoying a lot. The only negative thing is that I cannot travel a lot with them, which I love to travel with my wife and the kids. But also on the job side with Aprilia, I'm enjoying a lot. So. 2021 has been it's been a good year so far.
And we're only at round 4, so congratulations, Aleix. You can go home now. Hey, so I guess before we let you go, we have to do our quickfire questions, don't we? Because I'm conscious we've had you for about 25 minutes now.
Oh, we do.
So we do same quickfire questions to every guest before the end of the show.
So the idea was to compare the answers, but so far, like, a lot of people have been like, I don't know, or like something completely random. So come on, we're hoping for.
Do you want to start with the first one?
We're starting with the 3.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
One.
Yeah. So the first question is: you can have a dinner party and invite 3 people, dead or alive, not like your family or those people that you know. Anyone kind of famous or successful from history or from now. Who would you love to like meet and have a conversation with?
So, first one I will say Lance Armstrong. I met him once, but it was more people there, so
I couldn't have the conversation.
I think it's a very interesting conversation because he has been one of the best athletes in the world, and after all what happened, it will be great. Second one, I will say maybe Justin Bieber. You know why? Because
that is a great
Did
choice.
not expect that. Love it so much.
No, but he has been super famous with just 14, 15 years old, and his life was like a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And now I see him that with his wife, he finds the balance and feels better than ever. So it will be also interesting to talk with his different.
I would also love to see Justin and Lance talking to each other.
Maybe we will finish the conversation and he will have to buy a bicycle.
Exactly.
Maybe.
And then number 3, difficult. Not sure.
We can always come back to that if you want. We can move on to the
next
question.
We'll leave you waiting on the third
person.
So
next question is, where is your favourite place in the world? I think I might know the answer already.
Yeah.
My home.
Yeah, here we go.
No, but I know everybody will say the same, but my home where I live from last 7 years was not is not where I was born. So it's not Barcelona that I love it, but I discovered in Andorra, when I moved to Andorra, obviously the biggest reason was the tax. But after 7 years, I'm very happy there. I will not move doesn't matter anything else, because the peace you have there, the environment to cycle is the best of the world. My wife and the kids are super happy there. Normally when we go, I want to go holidays when I finish the season, or in the summer I want to go to the beach house, but it's impossible because they don't want. They want to stay home.
Really?
So when I travel and I feel that my family is that happy where we are living, it means that it's the best place in the world for me.
What more can you ask for? That's amazing.
That's a nice answer. What was the next one? What's your favourite dessert?
Something with Nutella.
Really? Oh, you're obsessed with that. Okay.
Great answer.
So I will say I don't eat so much, but pancake with Nutella, or I don't know, anything.
Or just a jar of Nutella with a spoon.
Oh, that's too much, maybe.
Yeah. Really interesting. Okay. Do you have like things with Nutella in your restaurants as well? Is that on the menu?
Yes, and one of the best desserts everybody order it is the Nutella pizza.
Yeah.
It's like a calzone with Nutella inside.
Nice.
It's unbelievable.
It's like, I feel like for British listeners, that's like a Nutella pasty, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. Really nice. I can remember one of the last questions. What was the fifth one? I can't remember.
What is the fifth one? See, we tried to get pro, and now we're like,
we
what
forgot
was the other question?
forgot to bring it printed out. What do you have any phobias? That's one of them. Is there anything you're really scared of? Snakes, spiders, anything like that?
No, I don't like the snakes, but not phobia. I mean, I can deal with them.
We had this before. It's like some things, if it's genuinely dangerous to you, it's normal to be scared of it, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a phobia.
Yeah.
Like, if like a cobra comes in now, we should be afraid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Phobia, no. Maybe...
no, like superstitions or that kind of thing too much.
You know, one thing that I hate is after all dry weekend, when I wake up in the morning before the warm-up and start to rain, I have phobia of this. So this maybe is one of the worst things can happen to me.
Yeah. I can't remember the fifth question.
I can't remember the fifth question.
Is this what happens when you get spot? But do you remember the last?
We've been photobombed by Tito Rabat. So
do you remember the third person for your dinner though?
Yeah, let's go back to that one.
I will dinner with my wife. I love my wife.
Your wife as well.
I love to spend time spend time with her. Now these last years, which we love, but we have not many time to stay alone without the kids. So when we have time for us and we go dinner, I enjoy a lot with Laura is my best friend. So apart from my wife, I enjoy a lot with her. So I will not lose time with anybody else.
I do like, that's very cute, but I do like how you're like, we don't get time to ourselves, so I'm going to bring her to dinner with Lance Armstrong and Justin Bieber.
Nice.
No, that's perfect. Thanks so much for your time.
It's been
a pleasure. Great conversation, and best of luck for the rest of the season and this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Well, hope you guys enjoyed that one with Aleix Espargaro. I've really, really enjoyed that particularly, and I've completely forgotten what we're actually meant to say at this point.
I was going to say, this sounds like Matt is doing one of those fluff filler bits, and then he's like,
goodness me. Oh, yeah, so
do you have the comments ready?
Yeah, I do actually have the comments ready. They're on the other side of this sheet here. Let's just keep all this part in, so do stick around because we have your comments. Question of the week, a reminder once again before we get going, right? So how do you guys perform best? Do you need to be happy in your personal life to perform best at work, or are you just someone who just grinds it out? I don't care what's going on outside of work. I could just do my job to the maximum.
How about you then?
Definitely need to be happy and have free space of mind. I mean, I found it over the last couple of years, to be honest, I can kind of do both. If work's a bit intense, I can just get through it and I can get things done, but I definitely prefer doing it when I feel more relaxed, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really pressure driven. I prefer, Sundays for me, especially at the moment, sadly we don't have any fans here, so I do most of the podium announcements as well, which has added serious kind of time stamps into my Sunday where if you've not done something by that point, then all is lost. And I really enjoy that, to be honest.
I think we brought this up last year, I think, how we performed best. I can't remember who it was with, but I think we both uncomfortably found out about ourselves over the last couple of years. We perform best when a deadline is looming.
I mean, I'm sure especially a lot of kind of students, or if you're studying anything or trying to learn anything, that's quite a classic, I think. I also had that at university. It's like, well, it's 8 hours. So got to get this done now.
Yeah, got to grind it out. Let's have a few more unspecified energy drinks or coffee. So YouTube comments. I was going to read some of these out and then we can comment on them, Fran. First one that we had from last week's question of the week: should riders have things outside of their actual racing life? And Jake YY said, well, this is not actually a response to that question, but why was this episode so short? Should be at least 1 hour long. Thought we'd actually answer that first, because these are a little bit shorter. They're about half an hour or so that we have with the interviews. But the reason why that is because the riders have about a million other things to do on these days. We really struggled to even get a half an hour spot with them.
For a few people, when you get lucky with having more of a relaxed day, then absolutely. But certainly for riders, there are so many commitments for these guys. Even though we don't have fans and we don't have some of the events that normally they'd have to do as well, there's a press conference for some, and then also so many media, different things they have to do, debriefs, sponsor commitments as well still, stuff with the team, and then obviously actually getting ready to race. Yeah, precisely. To steal the phrase from KTM.
So that is why that is the answer to that question particularly. But then also, Zhao Saltus got in touch on YouTube and said they should totally have more things in life other than just racing. I do tend to agree. I'm not sure what you reckon as well. I mean, Aleix is definitely someone who agrees.
Because I think as well, like Aleix and the person obviously who was in that chat last time, Miguel Oliveira, they're not exactly short of success, are they? So, you know, they're racing in the world's premier class of motorcycle racing. Yeah. So I think it does show you can do both.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want someone getting on the bike who literally lives and breathes and loves racing, but also at the same time... But you need to do that
in every moment where you're preparing or actually racing. Yeah. And I don't think it does matter that much, actually, if like 1 a.m. on a free weekend Saturday, you're just watching a film and not even remembering.
Quite. I mean, everyone's different, isn't it?
I do like it.
Exactly. Harambe Honda, what a name, on YouTube, replied to us saying, gotta love Oliveira, straightforward, balanced guy. Thanks, Matt and Fran, for doing the pods despite the conditions. I think he was referring to the looming storm that we had last week. No storms in the press conference room, though, is there?
No, there is not. It's a lot better. Also, for those of us who use a little bit of hair product, I was a little bit worried about getting that glued onto my head. So today is much drier.
And then lastly, I mean, this goes on what we were saying. Username 316. Their literal username is username 316.
It's incredibly original.
I know. Good to be focused and dedicated, but life is about more than just one thing. When the riders share their interests or hobbies, it makes them feel more human to us than rather than just racing machines. Their choice, though, shouldn't be forced into sharing. And I think that actually fully sums up our guest that we had today, Aleix. You know, shares everything from his life, the positives and sometimes the negatives, but definitely not forced into it by any means.
Yeah, for sure. We actually had this chat partly in kind of pre-season when Maverick Vinales didn't really publish much of him, like,
we did,
and his like kind of new family and everything that he's got going on, and it was like that, not argument, but that debate between, is it almost weird in such a social media era to not share that much, or, you know, do we expect too much sometimes? And maybe some people aren't like that. So like someone like Aleix, super open always. Also with like replies and stuff on Twitter, he'll always have a conversation, disagree with someone, call them out.
And in terms of sharing as well, interestingly enough, you've got Aleix there who shares his whole life, his family, everything with social media. His own brother, Paul, shares barely anything of his
it's interesting that. It's so. And we also didn't really ask him about that part of his family in the paddock, did we, too much in this episode?
No, but also, I like the direction that we did take.
No, for sure. And also, they are very separate humans.
Completely.
Like, obviously, they're close family. They've both had incredible success. But I think it's been, their journeys have been so different. And their paths and where they've been. So I think it's almost nice that both stand on their own 2 feet so well. Yeah,
and I hope probably at the end of this, actually, that, to be fair, thinking about it more, the biggest takeaway for me from this episode is talking about that relationship between rider and manager. I think that's something which, if we get to speak to riders again in future, I'd like to speak to them a little bit about more, because that was such a unique insight. And I bet
for sure.
Aleix is clearly one of those riders who needs to feel that support from his leader in his team. He needs to be uplifted. He doesn't need to be put down, shouted at, because sometimes that can be a leadership style, and some riders will respond to that. So it'd be interesting if we can speak to other riders who does get that sort of treatment instead.
Hopefully we will speak to other riders.
Yeah, that would be ideal for the MotoGP podcast.
Who we have lined up in Le Mans, hopefully. So far, so planned. That would be an interesting question, I think, from a very different team.
And a very different personality as well.
Very different personality to everyone else.
So stay tuned and see you next time, I guess, right?
Yeah. Thanks for listening/watching.